everybody. Today, I'm just holding Lucy Lawless. She's from season 11, so that's coming up in a couple seasons. Today, we are talking about season 7, episode 17, Homer the Smithers.
Homer the Smithers. As you can tell from the title, Homer takes over Smithers' duties when Smithers is made to go on vacation because he's been working way too hard.
It's my job to cook him breakfast, and I'm gonna cook the best damn breakfast he ever ate.
And can you think that maybe Homer might not quite be up to the task of doing all that Smithers does?
Right.
Well, I think that's kind of what goes on in this episode.
I mean, to be fair, that was kind of the point. Smithers didn't want anyone to do any better than he does because he wanted Burns to welcome him back with open arms. So, watch the episode to see how that turns out.
Yeah. But it's an amazing premise for jokes because to see, how incompetent Homer is and to see him trying to do even basic rudimentary tasks is funny. But, of course, Burns is completely particular and never satisfied with anything. That leads to a little moment. We might get into that as we talk. All right, but let's do our thing. Kick it off with lines. Give me your line number 1.
Oh, I can't even grovel properly. I'm a buffoon. I don't deserve to live on your planet anymore.
Shh. Dunk.
And that was Smithers. He was trying to get back in Burns' good graces by laminating the newspaper and doing a couple things in the morning, and it all backfired on him for sure.
Alphabetize your breakfast, sir. And then what's he do? He dunks his head in the water cooler.
Yes. And he took the water jug off and stuck his head in the water cooler, and Burns
He just
emptied the water.
empties it.
So he wouldn't drown. Crazy stuff. What about you?
Well, the episode opens with the whole power plant going to a drag race. It's kind of like a team outing, the bonus they were all getting from Mr. Burns paid their ticket to get in and whatnot. And my first line is from the announcer over the loudspeaker. And he says, "Welcome, welcome, welcome to an evening of exciting quarter-mile action, action, action. Our first race is a benefit for Daredevil Lance Murdoch, who's hospitalized with cirrhosis of the liver.
And then Homer laughs at that.
And he's like, liver.
Oh, crazy.
Oh, boy.
Yep, I know. That's it.
It's funny. So there you go. Start the episode with the big. What do you got for number 2?
I'm really sorry I hit you, Mr. Burns. Here, let me put some salt in your eye. That, of course, goes along with the scene that he mimicked, where Mr. Burns was just irritating Homer to the point that he punches a 104-year-old man in the eye. Changes Burns' ways a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But he's going to make it better by putting salt in the wound here.
Yes, of course.
All right, well, my next line goes back a little bit during the scenes where Homer is trying to make Mr. Burns happy and do his job correctly. And he goes up to Mr. Burns and he says, "Here are your messages. You have 30 minutes to move your car. You have 10 minutes to move your car. Your car has been impounded. Your car has been crushed into a cube. You have 30 minutes to move your cube." And then the phone rings and he's like, "Yo, Mr. Burns' office." And then Mr. Burns says, "Is it about my cube?"
Homer. Way to go, Homer.
You have 30 minutes to move your cube.
Move your cube.
If I was in that situation, I'm like, what are you going to do? Crush it more? Just whatever.
30 minutes.
Oh,
what an episode. And what are you up for scenes next?
Yep, let's do the scene.
All right. Well, my favorite scene is at the beginning of the episode during it's just after the drag race, and Mr. Burns had a foam finger, but he was thinking it was a little too giant, so he sends Smithers to go return it, and then Lenny, who's super drunk, comes and is knocking on the window. Oh, I just wanted to thank you, and Mr. Burns is terrified in his car. He locks the doors. Lenny's just trying to thank him for a good night, and Mr. Burns he's ready to get out his mace.
Yeah.
And then it pans over and he's got an
Medieval
actual
mace.
medieval mace, not a spray bottle of mace. So that's my favorite scene in the episode.
It's great. It's so funny.
What
All
about
right, my scene again goes back to Homer trying to do his job for Mr. Burns because all that stuff is gold. It's hilarious. But he starts out trying to make breakfast for Mr. Burns. And so he doesn't make breakfast for himself. Marge does all that. So what does he do? He gets a skewer. He puts bacon and the actual egg, the shell, through the skewer, and he puts it on the burner, and it bursts into flames.
Yes.
So then he breaks open the microwave door, sticks it inside the microwave, bursts into flames. And what's he do? Pours Burns bowl of cereal. A little milk, you ain't going wrong there. Bursts into flames.
Clearly,
This
person
episode
should
is great.
not be in charge of another person.
No. Oh, it's so funny. I had a lot of fun with this one. This was
Well, and I just also want to give a shout out to Smithers' Vacation too. There are some really great moments of that as well, with Congo Line and such. So it's on a nice little cruise, it seems. So
absolutely.
it's pretty good.
That takes us to winners and losers. How do you want to do that?
Let's go with your winner first.
My winner harkens back to your favorite scene, and it is Lenny. He seems so happy. He had such a good time at that drag race, and then I just loved how Burns is like, and then there's Lenny, thumbs up, and it flips him out so bad. But I don't know, it just seemed like Lenny was having a good day. He looked happy to me, so he won the episode.
Well, good for Lenny.
What do you?
I went with Barney. Good old Barney Gumble. At the end of the episode, Smithers is looking for another job, and he ends up at Moe's. And his job is to keep Barney out of the back room, which will go along with my loser here in a second too. But Barney, because he gets to go in the back room because Smithers is not on duty. He hasn't fully been hired yet. And in the back room, there is midnight beer being delivered.
Yeah.
So he gets to distract the delivery man and have a fun time in the back room.
Didn't Homer say something like, "You'll take the Barney guarding job as we've all contemplated in our darkest moments, or you'll go back to Mr. Burns," something like that.
And what about you?
Oh, well, first of all, I got a Vincent here.
Oh,
so.
Vincent's coming up on your lap.
Yeah, come on up, buddy.
Are you
Can
coming?
you do it? There he is. Everybody say hi to Vinny. There he is.
Good
He
job.
wanted to be part of the show. All
Oh,
right.
you're coming to me?
Well, with losers, my loser, plural, is actually 714 plant employees because Smithers is looking for somebody in the plant who he can outshine. So if he puts him in charge of Burns while he's on vacation, there's no way this other person is going to one-up him. He needs an incompetent person. So he types in incompetent. 714 plant employees come up from their evaluations. So he's like, I better be more specific. Types in lazy, clumsy, dim-witted, monstrously ugly. 714 plant employees have that in their evaluations. Then he's like, nuts to this, I'll just get Homer Simpson. But yeah, if there's 714 employees that all have that in their evaluation, this week's loser might. What do you got?
Well, so I just mentioned the delivery of the midnight beer. So even though they are a top contender, those delivery men get shanghaied by Barney. I'm actually going to jump back to the beginning of the episode and go with the race car drivers because Mr. Burns has his binoculars and he wants to watch the race, but in a typical race, the cars are really fast. So he tells them to slow down, and they are basically going snail's pace slow so he can watch the race like this, and I don't even think they're going 10 miles an hour.
They look pretty mad about that
Right.
whole thing.
And for this particular race, if they were going fast, then there was a parachute that came out the back of their cars to help slow them down, and it didn't unfurl because they were so slow. So
Yep.
those are my losers this week.
Winners and losers, good fun stuff. What are your winners and losers? Let us know.
Yep, share those in the comments. Share anything you'd like to say about this episode or any of our previous episodes in the comments below. Again, this was Season 7, Episode 17, Homer the Smithers. And thanks again for joining us for Coming Up Milhouse. Until next time,
Jiminy Jillikers!
Donuts? I told you I don't like ethnic food. Here, tell me how my stocks did yesterday.
They all won.
What about my options?
Well, you can either get up or go back to sleep.
I believe I'll get up.